Welcome to Proverbs. We're going to look at Proverbs 5 and the subject, which is a repeating theme in Proverbs, the theme of the adulteress. So, here's a story. Otis of Wisconsin wrote Ann Landers. She was a columnist that people wrote questions to. And he said, 11 years ago, I walked out on a 12-year marriage. And then he says, this is what I gave up, seeing my daughter grow up, the respect of many longtime friends, the enjoyment of living as a family, a wife who was loyal, appreciative, and tried very hard to make me happy. This is what I got in this adulterous relationship. 2 stepchildren who treated me like dirt, a wife who didn't know how to make anything for dinner but reservations, a wife whose only interest in me was how to get more money, get as much money as she could get, a wife who disparaged my family and ruined all my existing friendships. Finally, the thing that I got was a bitter, expensive divorce. Well, Solomon addresses this. As a matter of fact, there's 3 or 4 references to this tragedy that we just heard a testimony about. Solomon, in keeping with his themes of 2 roads, 2 lifestyles to travel in life, he says there's the road of the wise, there's the road of the fool. On these 2 life journeys are contrasting traveling companions. On the road of the wise, a good wife or a good husband. On the road of the fool, the adulteress. And he refers to the adulteress in Proverbs 5, 6, and 21. But here's the other references to this adulteress in Proverbs 2, 5, 6, and 7. So you have a lot of references in these 15 admonitions. At least 3 of them are major admonitions, 5, 6, and 7, to this subject. I was preaching a series of messages through Proverbs 1 through 9, and so I addressed this subject at length in chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, 3 sermons in one series on adultery. But apparently the Lord knew our church needed it. When I finished up this sermon on Proverbs 7 on a Sunday, on Monday, 2 ladies from our church who were members of our church came to the parsonage to talk to me. And my wife, of course, was there, but she was in the room adjacent. And one of the ladies said, these messages on adultery the Lord has used because I am in an adulterous relationship. She brought her best friend just to help her talk through this. She repented of her sin. She broke off that adulterous relationship, and her marriage has survived to this day. That was not just years ago, that was decades ago. When I go back to that church to preach, she and her husband are there. God's word is powerful, it's convicting, but it also has a powerful remedy. 4 insights into ignoring the adulteress. Live by God's wisdom. And so this is how he's going to start this. Look in chapter 5, verse 1. My son, there you go with our clue that this is another admonition. My son, attend unto my wisdom and bow your ear to my understanding. Listen to God's wisdom in his word because of her destruction. For the lips of a strange woman, a foreign woman. And again, it's not nationality here that's the issue. What's the damaging part is, and what later Solomon fell prey to, were the gods of his foreign wives. For the lips of a foreign woman drop its honeycomb, and her mouth is as smooth as oil, but her end is bitter and sharp as a worm wood. Her words are smooth, but the consequences of that adulterous relationship is destruction. It is bitterness because of your destruction. Verse 7, hear me now, therefore, O ye children, depart not from the words of my mouth. Verse 10, lest strangers be filled with your wealth. You separate, you get and you go have this adulterous relationship. She marries somebody else, and he has your wealth. Live by God's wisdom, avoid the adulteress. How? By loving your wife. Verse 15, drink waters out of your own cistern or well, running waters out of your own well. Let your fountains be dispersed abroad. Let the children of this relationship and the rivers of water be in the streets. Verse 17, let them be only your own, not a stranger's. Let them be your children. And so this is the language of Song of Solomon when he says, drink water out of your own cistern. Be delighted with your own wife. Don't seek sexual pleasure with someone else. Love your wife. And then embrace wisdom in verse 20. Verse 18, let your fountain be blessed. Rejoice with the wife of your youth. Again, this was the theme of the Song of Solomon, Solomon's first book that he wrote when he was young and in love with a Shulamite woman. But later he departed from that. But then embrace wisdom. Verse 20, why will you, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? So I put down this reference here, chapter 4, verse 8, where Solomon is exhorting his son, don't embrace another woman. Embrace wisdom. Verse 8. Exalt her, and she shall, talking about wisdom here, wisdom is personified as a female. Exalt her, and she shall promote you. She shall bring you honor when you do embrace her. So what a great admonition here, to embrace wisdom and your own wife, and abstain from the dangers and the destruction of the adulteress.